Hello.
Hey. I'm here with my friend Jonah, who agreed to be on video and is very gracious to do so.
No problem.
To do another little product usability test.
Sweet.
And I've told you what about this project?
Nothing. Wait.
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Yeah, pretty much nothing.
Or if you told me it, I forgot it.
Yeah. No,
So
I didn't tell you
it's the
anything.
same thing.
I didn't tell you anything.
Okay, great.
The
great.
point is that this is the genuine article.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Sounds good.
I want to do a little bit of a usability test on you, maybe.
Okay.
Before that, I want to do a little bit of a product discussion.
Sure.
I'm rushing through this because we only got an hour. I'm doing this project where I'm recording this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea of the project is that it's like just the real of what I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
mistakes and all.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So feel free to like have the discussion you would normally have with not only a usability tester but with like me.
Okay.
You know, and we can just talk normally.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. I'm gonna
you
drink
know.
coffee normally.
Good. Yes. Yeah. I slurp a lot in these videos.
Oh man, that was hot.
Oh no. What else? I want to. Hopefully, we can just sort of like talk about design process a little bit because it's design related. We'll see. I'm gonna do a lot of breaking the fourth wall because it's like this project.
Yep.
So I will probably pause and be like, I think I just tried to do this.
Yep. Sounds good.
Yeah. Any
This is
questions
fun.
before we start?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Let's do it.
I know a little bit about you, but before we dive in, just plain usability testing person, could you tell me a little bit about, you know, in a few sentences, what you've done in your career and what you're up to now?
I've done a lot in my career. The relevant part to this is I've been designing software for a couple decades, and I moved out of a specific like maker role about 3 years ago, and now I'm a managing partner at Atomic Object, and that means that I'm managing people. I have about 20 direct reports, and I'm keeping them busy, so I'm selling projects and I'm keeping them happy.
Yeah.
That's
So,
about it.
I think your experience as a designer will be really relevant for this project. But
Great.
you're also one of the few, maybe only person I'm talking to soon who's doing the job that you're doing now, which is also pretty relevant.
Mm-hmm.
So feel free to answer as like with different hats, so to speak, as we
Cool.
go. I want to ask you a little bit about the any stages of a design process that you do that are very generative, but also very collaborative. Maybe sort of the post, contract signed kickoff stage. Maybe you could tell me a little bit about how that goes for you guys now. And
Well, we prefer on-site for the reason on-site kickoffs for the reasons that you might think.
Yeah.
It's easier to put people around a table and pass out Post-its and Sharpies and generate really quickly. It feels frictionless. I actually just this week used Miro, which used to be called
Yeah.
Real-Time Board, and it is what it is. I was on the phone call with executives from a large company that are literally around the globe, so there's no way we were going to get together. But the friction and the effort that you have to put in to just be able to create a new Post-it is too much. Like anything that's more than that's more than this is too much, right? So if I were to use a remote collaboration tool, I want it to be easier than that. I want it to be faster than that. Like I'm thinking a keystroke shouldn't be any more than that.
Whoa.
And I want to be able to. The other thing about Miro is that just being able to do this it's a huge pain in the ass.
Doing
You
what?
gotta
Just picking it up
and moving it.
Yeah. Why do you move them?
Oh, because you're affinity mapping,
Right.
more often than not, or you're setting up like, okay, folks, we're gonna do a retrospective. So let's talk about what went really well, what could have gone better and what we're going to do next time, right? And so people want to be able to create it, put it in the column, that kind of thing. Sometimes somebody wants to put something in the what went well that actually is probably what could have gone better, right? And so then you need to create a new one. You need to put it in the other column. You want to zoom out and zoom in. There's a lot going on a virtual canvas or a virtual whiteboard. It introduces a lot of friction that you feel. And usually, like by the end of a session like that, I'm invigorated and I'm ready to go. By the end of that session, I was just like tired.
Yeah.
And it was down to the tool. Like it was down to how much work it was to use that tool.
Wow. You played right into my hands. Let me ask you, okay,
Cool.
Let me break this down.
Yep.
What is it exactly? I want to take it from two perspectives. The issue of the person who's using the tool, the client or the stakeholder or the participant, and then your usage of the tool. So it sounds like for them the biggest issue is it has to be like one click if it was an interactive piece of software, easier than like this.
Yeah.
Are there any other issues that they have to deal with that that are really important for that person? Maybe it's any other difficulties?
There's always like a learning curve to being able to use the tool, right?
Right.
So like I could show you the I think I deleted it, but the canvas that we had, like everybody's Post-its were hugely different sizes. Because like one person was like, I need more room. They blew it up, and they didn't realize that as they blew it up, their font size would also blow up. And it's just like you just have all this like, and it's like for the first 15 minutes of the meeting, it's a clown show. Just everything's flying everywhere. People think that like what they see on their screen is what everybody's seeing, and what they want to be able to do is like pull it off screen, so that they can write it and then bring it in.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, they think that the viewport that they have is the viewport that everybody has, and that's not true, right?
Right.
So I'll see people that will create a sticky, and I don't know why they're doing it. I haven't asked, but I assume they want to be able to take it into a private place and work on it, and then bring it in, right? Because they're all high-powered executives. They don't want they're all like VP and director level. They don't want to be seen as messing up.
Yeah.
So they pull it off screen.
But it's not.
Whatever. I just like they don't see what I see, so I just follow them. And so I'm spying on them, and then they bring it back in, and it's fine. But they have this concept of wanting to be able to work on a private space and then pull it back in, which is the same thing. Like if you and I were generating right now, and we had our pens, right? And I'm writing down here, you're writing over there. You're not looking at what I'm doing.
No, I can't see.
It's my thing, right?
You know what I do when I do this?
And I decide when I share it.
Right. Or if you share it, right?
Right. Maybe no, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But so that's one of it. But the biggest one is that like there's this huge learning curve for the first 15 to 20 minutes where people are figuring out how the tool works.
What are the things they're struggling with when they're learning to learn the tool?
When you have a physical artifact here, I can with my handwriting decide on the fly how big it's going to be, right? And it's really easy for me to say, well, this size isn't going to work for me, but this size will work for me. So I can just look around and okay. I see them like trying to resize the Post-it a lot. And
what they're doing that because they run out of room?
Yeah. Which honestly they should just make their ideas more concise. And if I were running the session in person, and they said I need a bigger paper, I would just tell them, you need to be more concise.
Right.
You don't need bigger paper. Just
Right.
this is what you got.
Yeah.
Use it. So I see him messing around with that, struggling to understand how to move things, how to scale things.
Moving and scaling.
Yep.
Okay, can we go back to moving for a second? There's two reasons you mentioned for moving.
Mhm.
One is to group things together,
Yep.
and then there's
Yep.
affinity diagram, sort of
Yep. Yep.
affinity map. Then there's also the sort of staging things one after the
Yep.
other. There's
Yep.
this, and then there's going to do a session of this, and then we're going to do that.
Yep.
And moving things between those sessions.
Yep. Yep.
Any other use cases for moving?
Well, I think actually the staging thing is really important. If we were doing it in person, everybody would be able to bring up their thing one at a time and explain it as they put it up. And when everybody puts everything up all at once, there comes a point where people are reading and they're not listening because they can see everything all at once, right?
Yeah.
Whereas the more efficient way to do it is, okay, Sam, I've got 3 things I'm going to share with you. I'm not going to put them up where you can see them, because as soon as I put them up and you can see them, you're not going to listen to me
Right.
anymore. You're going to be reading.
Right.
And those tools just sort of don't give you the ability to do that.
So when you're running this with normal Post-it notes,
Mhm.
you're having people go up to the board, maybe
Mhm.
do the thing where they stick them all on their arm or something,
sure.
and then they go
Yeah.
up one by one and
Yeah.
add them and talk
and,
about
and talk about them
individually. Yeah.
Yep. Either that, or people are so far away from the board that they don't bother reading it because they can't
Right.
read at that distance. And then I can, as the facilitator, say, oh, this is an interesting one. Who wrote this? Let's talk about it.
Yes. Well, actually, okay, so let's say you're dealing with a client who's physically, say they're in Ann Arbor or something, and you're having a kickoff and you're doing this with Post-it notes, which is probably better than this tool you're using. It sounds like you like doing it in person.
Less friction. It's much more flexible. There's just a lot of ease.
What are the potential friction points for you with physical Post-its? Any friction points there? The hardest part of doing physical Post-it meeting?
Getting everybody in the room.
Physically getting people there.
Yeah. That's the only reason that these other things exist, I think. Then there's also the after the meeting, you often want to translate what was generated into a digital medium of some kind. Could be a spreadsheet, could be an omnigraphal diagram. It could be a lot of different things, right?
What do you guys normally use?
Let's see. It depends on what we're using. It could be a sketch file, could be literally a spreadsheet. We always take a lot of pictures of the board.
Yeah.
You're gonna run out of battery.
Oh no.
Do you need I have
Okay. Well, as the viewers are used to seeing, we ran out of phone battery / storage space / whatever. You were on a roll though, and you were telling me about the process of documenting or digitizing the results of one of these whiteboard meetings after the fact.
Yep. We do it in a lot of different ways. Sketch, omnigraphal, stories on board, Miro.
Stories on board.
Stories on board is a good tool for creating like a product backbone or a product backlog.
Okay.
So think that what you're trying to do with stakeholders is gather functionality requirements.
Yeah.
For like what they want a software application to do.
Cool. Okay.
And it is really easy. You can navigate the whole interface with keystrokes, so you can continue. You can just hit enter tab, right. And it helps you to create like a facsimile sticky hierarchy, which is what you're looking for in that kind of paradigm.
Definitely gonna take a look at that later.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can sign up for free. I think you do. I think you can have one board for free with like 3 teammates or something. I don't know. I haven't used it in a year, but
Okay, very cool.
yep.
Let me think back to this process.
Oh, the other thing that it does
Yeah.
is it pushes directly into different project management tools that we use. That's really useful.
So you can sort of hit the button, it goes to like
Pivotal
Pivotal
or
based
Jira.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm tempted to sort of go down and ask a little bit more about. Well, let me actually ask just simply this: like, what other tools do you generally use? Is it a Pivotal or a Jira? Any other digital tools you'll pull in during the, especially design process?
Yeah, well, I mean, we can use Basecamp for communicating with clients and having sort of a digital repository of documents.
Yeah.
That's good. We use Slack for communicating, but Slack is a really bad place to keep track of what's going on.
Yeah.
Because it's just a waterfall. Like
Yeah.
eventually the like if the message that you want to send is a boat going over the waterfall, it's like 5 minutes later and it's gone and you're never gonna see it again.
Yeah. Slack is tough sometimes.
Yeah, it's tough for managing. You can't manage a project. It's a synchronous communication tool and it's good for what it is, but that's all it is.
Yeah.
It can't be anything else, I don't think.
No, it's true. I mean, tools are sort of designed for purpose, right? Like
Yeah.
things that are hammers aren't good for screwing in screws or whatever the case
Right,
is.
right, exactly.
Very good point.
Yep. What else do we use? Yeah, like, it's not really design process, but, spreadsheets for tracking stuff. Trello for tracking to-dos, some people use it. We've used, for user interviews, we've used this really interesting tool called Cassette. And Cassette can take a recording, an audio file, you upload it, and it can tell the difference between you and me, and it can create a whole script, and it frees you from when you're taking an interview from taking notes like at all.
Yeah.
You can just be completely present, and it'll
That's
create a
awesome.
full-on script. Yeah, it's cool. It's not cheap, but it's very useful.
Interesting. How much is it?
I don't know. I think it's I think it might be according to time. I think we've used it. It's probably like $80 or $100 for one interview, and that's cheaper than us having two people in the room.
Right.
And doing an interview on your own sucks.
Yeah. Is it weird? How does it feel, rather, to have it priced per time or per interview rather than like some kind of monthly subscription?
I don't know.
Not sure how you would. Do you think?
For us, it makes sense because all of our our business runs on time.
Right.
So if you and I were on a project and we were interviewing somebody, that means that some client somewhere is paying $300 an hour instead of $150.
Right.
And doing an interview on your own isn't really feasible.
Right.
The quality is going to degrade, and then so I need somebody to come in and help.
Right.
Or I could record it and then take notes afterward, but that's going to take even longer than the interview took to actually
Yeah.
take those notes and digest them.
Is that true for the whiteboard sessions as well?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
Let's say somebody on your team comes to you with an exciting new tool. What is the process for having somebody like Atomic or a group like Atomic purchase that tool?
So they're empowered to use whatever tools they want. I don't want to know about it, and I don't want to give them permission or be involved in any way.
Okay, so not a big issue for getting the process going. Okay,
No.
cool.
No, I am sure that there are tons of tools being used right now that I have no idea about.
Okay, cool. Okay, we're 20 minutes in. I may have more questions for you afterwards. I'm sure I will. But let's dive into something.
Yeah.
This is where we're transitioning from product interview to like slightly product test usability
Cool.
test.
Great.
you're familiar with usability test rules. I won't give you a ton of background, but obviously please talk out loud as you go.
Sure.
Thoughts you have, questions, things you like, things you don't like, design critique, very open.
Okay.
Don't, lay it all out there for me. No, you
Okay.
don't have to.
Okay.
Facial expressions, obviously,
Okay.
very welcome. Let's say
Right.
that you're about to run another one of these whiteboard sessions.
Yep.
And the scenario is that you heard that there are, somebody might have told you, hey, there's better tools for doing this out there these days. And you wanted to sort of look and find what's out there and consider maybe using something for your next session.
So I would probably Google like virtual whiteboard or something like that.
Yes.
That's what I would do. You've got Workshop Tool here. And Lord Mipson.
Guess which one I want you to click.
Yeah. That's fair.
What do you see? What do you notice on that one there, real quick?
Collaboration superpowers, that's cool. Shuffleboard's a fun name. Makes running live brainstorm sessions easy and shareable. I think the thing that I would add into that is remote.
Yeah.
So the biggest reason that I would do this over something else is that I can't get everybody in the same room.
Yeah, totally. Such a good test subject.
Ha ha ha. Run amazing live meetings. Makes life easy and shareable. That's cool. Interesting. Oh, okay.
So what are you noticing?
I'm noticing that it's also for being in person, which isn't where my head would go, but I think that we're, as an organization, really big on being co-located and together in the same place. But what I notice here is that my participants have their phones, so that's interesting.
What does that make you think about?
It makes me think that that we're not going to have computers and keyboards, and I think that's interesting. And it enables a lot of the, like, I think something even like Miro, if it were an iPad app and you could just manipulate things with your fingers, I think it would be a lot better. And so being able to take advantage of touch on a smaller device could be really interesting.
When you think about keyboards, is it really just the fact that it's sort of maybe there's this sort of a clunky UI piece to it, or what is it about not having computers around?
It's not the keyboard. It's that interfacing. Like I think what collaboration and generation work wants is to be tactile. That's what it wants as a medium. I think it requires it, and when you don't have that because you're using a laptop, and you have this artificial interface with a mouse it's not real.
Yeah.
It's not what you would want.
Yeah.
So I could totally see being generative on my phone and just being able to finish a sticky, flip it off, do the next one, flip it off, and I could see it release, sort of removing a lot of that friction. It also opens up the possibility that you use a stylus, so there's no keyboard at all, right? You can just write on the screen and just flip it,
Totally.
or get out of here. And then again, like organizing things with your fingers is much easier than trying to organize things with a stupid mouse.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that something like if Miro were a native touch-enabled application, and we were all let's say that we were all using iPads, and we were all hooked into maybe it's an Apple TV app,
Yeah.
and we're collaborating in that way. I could see being paperless and that being okay, being pretty interesting.
Do you have any concerns about technology and screens existing in the meeting context, period?
Well, you'd probably have to ask people to put their device in do not disturb mode.
Right.
Because if not, like, it's notification,
Right.
notification. Everybody's distracted.
That's a good idea. Cool.
So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if an application could, when it's open, just like force do not disturb mode.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible. It could prompt you to do it, but you'd have to do it yourself.
Cool.
So anyway,
Yeah, let's go.
that's what I saw there. That seems really interesting. Takes the pressure.
How's that feel?
Great.
Good.
I'm
Okay.
all for being not under pressure.
That came from our last usability test.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's good. So you're just reading here now.
Yep. I'm just reading. I'm getting a sense for what this thing is.
What is it? Is the question in your mind right now?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what does
yeah.
it do?
Yeah. What is it? Yeah. I mean, if this were a video, I'd click on it to see it in action. Yeah. Anytime with a software product, I come there and there's a video and it's not of the tool in use, I'm gonna go away immediately. And it's like, call us to schedule a demo. No, sorry, but I don't want to talk with one of your salespeople. I just want to see, like, is this thing good or is it not?
Yeah.
Is it what I'm looking for? Is it not what I'm looking for?
Totally.
So the best part of paper and markers without the hassle. That's cool. I mean, the good part about paper and markers is that they are they're easy to use.
Yeah.
And you can focus on the task at hand. And they're very flexible, right? It's easy to just move them around. It's easy to generate more. It's easy to get more.
Yeah.
And but the downside is probably most of us can't write as fast as we can type.
Yeah.
Handwriting can be bad. And then there's always the in-person experience is great because you're really connecting. People are sharing their ideas openly. They're able to write something down and then exposit on it to the entire group. That's all really great.
Yeah.
But being able to capture that experience to digest it later, that is hard. It's not tough. It's a lot of busy work.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily generate value.
Good. So what I'm hearing is we have a Post-it note fan who is open to better ways to post.
Sure.
That's a good sign. Okay, good.
Sure. The main thing is that the what exists in the market today that replaces the Post-it introduces a lot of friction in the generation process, which is exactly where the friction shouldn't exist, right?
Well said. I love it. That's awesome.
Okay. Cool. Support real-time discussion, not to replace it. That is definitely what we're looking for. I would even say not just support, but like augment it.
Yeah.
Make it
Not just lift it up, but better.
Make it better.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It should make it faster. It should make it more flexible. It should be even easier than it is to do in person.
Awesome.
No more taking pictures of whiteboards to keep everyone in the loop. Or sometimes it's you're taking pictures of whiteboards to preserve information that you would lose otherwise, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because people will do activities in all of these, but this stuff's getting erased all the time.
Yeah.
You have to take a picture of it immediately, or it's might not be there the next time you come back.
Yeah, that's a scary feeling.
Yeah.
All your hard work, and then you gotta make sure to snap that picture.
Yep. Works with remote teams. Make sure everyone is heard. Keep everyone's focus where it should be in the meeting. Cool. So the tension there and what you have to figure out is that, like, in my meetings, these are prohibited. Like,
Right.
no phones, because it's just it's a distraction. So just like no computers, no phones. That's the way that usually I go, because it keeps the focus in the room and not on, like, it's really annoying to be in a room, you're going at it full gas, and one of the people in the workshop is like on Facebook or checking their stocks or whatever.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah.
come on, man. You're paying a lot of money to be in this room right now.
Yeah.
Be here now. So I think that's something that you've got to figure out.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's the big hypothesis. Like,
Right.
does this make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So I would want to. I mean, what I would want to do here is see a video. But if I wasn't going to do that, I'm not going to do this yet, because I don't know if it's the right thing or not.
What do you mean?
Well, I'm not gonna log in because I don't have a login, and I'm not gonna sign up sight unseen. Like,
Right.
I wanna see something first. That's me.
If there was a video that showed you some demo of the product,
Mhm.
and you saw it and it looked potentially good,
Yeah.
potentially useful,
Yeah.
would you be comfortable? What would you be comfortable doing then?
Then I'd sign up.
Okay.
And just start using it.
Cool.
And the way that I usually buy software products is I want to see it, whether or not there's a credit card required, whatever. Like, I have a process for that. If it's like free trial, but you give your credit card, I'll just say, great, how long is the free trial? Okay, set myself a calendar event to cancel this.
Yeah.
And then I just jump in. And what I will usually look for something like this when I'm preparing to actually do something.
Right.
So run a workshop, do something like that. That's not going to be in person. So, and I just did one. I did one on Tuesday.
Cool.
That was, like I said, virtual, people all around the world. No way we could get together.
Yeah.
Um,
So, okay. Makes
so
sense.
I'd sign up. I'd probably use it. And actually, I signed up for Miro.
Yeah.
I paid for a month, and I'll cancel it at the end of this month. Mostly because my use of these kinds of tools is so intermittent
Yeah.
that I'm not gonna, like, Miro costs like $100 a month.
Really?
Yeah, it costs $10 per teammate,
Right.
and I needed 10 seats, so
Yeah.
I paid for it, and I'll just
Teammate meaning any participant.
yes, yeah.
Interesting.
You can have unlimited viewers, but what do I want a viewer for?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
No viewers.
Interesting.
So I need everybody to be able to work in it
Right.
together.
Okay. Let's pretend that you watched a video and
Okay.
you've seen something
and I'm
that
like,
looks
sweet,
potentially
let's do
useful.
this. Okay, I'm gonna try it for myself. So try it. So basically, I'm creating an account. It's not like a sandbox kind of
Exactly.
situation. Okay, cool. I'll just sign
No
up.
big deal.
All right.
So what do you notice here?
Well, there is a bunch of stuff here that I recognize. I know what it is.
Okay. Meaning sprint retro.
Yeah,
Okay.
This is nice. This is fun. The fact that there's a task list. That's cool. I might also want to just be able to get rid of it, forever. But this is cool. The cool thing is that there are things here that I know what they are. So sprint retro board, got it. SWOT analysis, cool. Feature kickoff, excellent. And then I guess this board is like archived, maybe. Oh. So I'd probably jump in and just see, like, what is this like? Yeah, I'm just looking for my prompts. How do I share my screen? Okay.
You're Becky, by the way.
Okay. Hi, Becky. Great. That's funny. Cool. And these are the people here. Becky's the owner.
This is as if you were
Seeing it on my phone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So you
All
can
right.
pretend that you were in a meeting that this is for somebody who pretend you're in a meeting that somebody asked you to join.
Cool. The one thing that I would say, the one thing that I notice is that the requiring login with Google can be problematic in some settings. I have a lot of corporate clients who aren't allowed to use it, so they need to really like what would be preferable for that is just like if you have the link, you can join.
Yeah.
No need to log in.
Totally.
And so security through obscurity kind of situation. And that happens a lot in really large organizations. Most large organizations are Microsoft centric. So they will have Microsoft IDs, but they will not be allowed to use Google at all. Like we can't use Google spreadsheets, Google Docs. They can't see them. They can't, like if they go to them, the corporate firewall has just walled them off completely.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Cool, but I'm going to join this meeting. Cool.
Let's say that she does.
Okay. Well, this sprint. Great.
These are your answers.
And I can just type. Oh, so I'm typing stuff here and sending it, and it's popping up here. Got it. Yep, that's great. So when I send them here, they're going to the whole group.
Yeah, I mean, this is a little bit out of order because we jumped into the mobile mode. You would be the presenter in the original scenario.
Sure.
In fact, you'll see how it works.
Okay.
Let's actually jump back to there real quick. I'm going to turn it away from you so you don't spoil any spoilers. There's no spoilers. So let's say you're ready.
Yep.
This is not a link. It's just a text box of people. You could copy it.
Yep.
Maybe it'll say copied, and then you could paste it in Slack or something.
Okay.
So let's say you're ready to
first
start.
question. This is me.
Yes, you're
Okay.
the facilitator in this
Okay.
case. So
What
these are
went well?
answers coming up on the board as they type.
Okay, and they're coming up. So, and each one of these is one single thing.
Yes.
Cool. I can, so when we talk about, I can, this is all customizable. I can make that say whatever I want it to say.
I'm hesitant to answer because I want you to figure it out for yourself.
Okay.
So you've now hit next, and now these are the same answers appearing.
Cool. So those are for different people. Colors are associated with colors. That's great. This one's got 2 likes, so people can sort of vote and say, I like that. That makes sense.
Short meeting.
Yep. 89 total answers. Nice. That's cool. Makes you feel good.
Good.
Okay. Cool. Let's look at,
That's going to be the same.
Huh? Oh, it's the same thing. Okay.
Just a function of the prototype.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. What about this? Oh, a report. God damn. Cool.
Those are all your answers.
Yep. So one way that I might want to be able to download that, like, I think it might be useful to have it be available as like an EPS file or an SVG that I can drag into Illustrator and manipulate.
Interesting.
Or a spreadsheet.
Yeah. 2 very different file formats. One very structured data. The other one is like
I want to be
vector.
able to. Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's very cool.
Yep. I mean, the PDF I would probably be able to open in Illustrator anyway and manipulate. It probably is vector.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, actually, this might just be the list of I had imagined a text list, but I like the idea of having like a physical, like a board export.
Yeah, because we find that we end up doing that.
Let's say you were curious about wanting to make your own meeting, customizing these pieces. How might that go?
How might that go? So I want to make my own meeting. Okay, right. Yeah, new template. Okay, this is helpful.
He's leaning his face close to the screen as if it's very small and hard to
read.
read.
It is very small. Oh, there we
Good to
go.
know.
Okay. That's interesting. I like the idea of a time limit. That's good. That takes, it enables me to use the tool and not have another thing that I'm paying attention to.
Yeah.
That's really good. I would almost like, okay, so is this, what I'm doing right here is defining a step, right? Okay. Got it. And then let's see.
I mean, this would
Okay.
be, I should have it, maybe it had a blank slate that you click and then it's filled in to
Right,
show
right,
this better, but
right,
I just
right.
didn't build it.
Yep. And each step, I can define the time limit for each step. Cool. One thing that I would also want over here in the agenda is a total number of minutes I have right now. Because if I know I have 90 minutes, just save me doing the math.
Yeah.
And then I can see it and I want to fill up my time. And I might even want to, over here in the agenda, be able to adjust my minutes.
Yeah.
Because I'm probably trying to stay within a time box.
Very interesting.
And I'm not going to want to jump through the agenda to, okay, I need to tweak this a little bit, this a little bit.
Yeah.
Just let me tweak it all in one place.
Got it.
There's probably a lot of things that you could do with that. But because I've got stuff I need to get through, constraint of time. How do I make this work?
Yeah. Very cool.
And make it fit.
Overall, it seems like you know what to do on this page.
Yeah.
You
I'm trying to think of like what sort of generative, workshop I would be running where I need pictures or videos.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't do multiple choice or choose one either.
Yeah.
Well, you could definitely do that if you were trying to play. So there's two different types of workshops, right?
Yeah.
There's they're divergent workshops where I'm going to want short text and long answers.
Yeah.
And then there's convergent workshops where I'm going to want to choose one and multiple choice.
Got a bunch of ideas.
Right.
We're here to make a decision today.
Right. Yeah.
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 Are those
Trying to push
separate
it
modes?
forward.
Those are separate modes for you, different meetings?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. I probably would not. I wouldn't try and do it all in one meeting because usually after some generation or divergent thinking, we need to perform some synthesis to bring it back to the group so that now we're ready to converge. Before that synthesis happens and before we've pulled out the insights that were generated, there's going to need to be some work that's not with the whole group.
Totally.
And then we're going to want to dial it in.
Okay, great.
Yep. Yep, this makes sense, especially when you're talking about number of answers makes sense, especially when you're talking about converging.
Yeah.
You know, for divergent thinking, like number of answers, however many you want, doesn't matter.
Totally.
But then when you're trying to converge in, you probably need to limit things.
You do want to do
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Anything else jumping out to you on this page?
When the time ends, move to the next question. I probably would not want to do.
Yeah.
That's too much. That's too on the rails, and I want to control when I kick
We're
off the next
supporting
one.
you, not autopiloting them.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. And I also might want to put. I would like to be able to put into the agenda breaks. So it's just a time session. There's nothing going on in the session. It's just like 5-minute bio break.
Totally.
And I'd like to be able to have it in here.
Very cool. That makes total sense.
Because if what I usually have, especially if it's a client-facing workshop, is I'll have a slide deck
Yeah.
that's on the screen at all times so that people know what the schedule is. And if I'm going to use this, I want this to completely replace that slide deck. I don't want to be going back and forth.
Really good point.
That if I had to use more than one tool, that would probably mean that I just wouldn't use it.
Awesome. That was a question of mine.
Cool.
Okay. Anything else jumping out to you? There's not much else to click on, but you can try.
Hey, I found it. Cool. That's great. Cool. Starter and pro.
Yeah.
You can add teammates. That makes sense.
Yeah, some of the stuff you've mentioned about teammates is making me really consider, like, I was originally thinking, like, well, anybody can participate, but the number of admins who actually have to use it would be something to charge for, but then it sounds like Miro does it differently. I haven't done any...
Yeah. I don't, it's not super useful for what we want. I mean, the key, I think the key constraint on an account should be something like number of boards, or like number of participants in a single session, or something like that.
Interesting.
But they're just like straight up, it's $10 per person, and if I want to have anybody else but me in there, I got to pony up another $10, which is like
not quite mapping.
No, it means that it 100% means that I'm going to cancel my subscription at the end of this month.
Well, I have my first reaction is like, and now I'm thinking of Miro as a competitor. I'm like,
yeah, you should.
I gotta see if I can beat that pricing model.
Yeah. And then, well, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm not going to use Miro to create deliverables.
Right.
I'm not going to do it. And honestly, I'm not going to use any web-based tool.
Yeah, you're going to want to have full control over what you deliver.
Yeah, I want a native application because it's a pain in the ass to use these web technologies to create something that's fundamentally visual, right?
Hence, that's why you want it some kind of vector. Like, you could drag it into Sketch, update it, not take a spreadsheet, and then how do you get the spreadsheet into Sketch?
The spreadsheet I would take and probably import it into another tool. Like I could let's say that we're generating features for a product backlog
to spreadsheet.
I can
to Basecamp or to whatever
to Pivotal probably.
Got it.
Yep.
We have about 15 minutes left.
Okay.
We're not done though.
Okay.
Because we're gonna do something else while we're here.
All right.
I would like to run a retrospective with you.
Cool.
Right now.
Okay.
In Shuffleboard.
Oh no. It's really happening.
It's really happening. We're doing it.
All right. Okay. On my phone?
Well, I'm realizing now that my phone's occupied. Should I be? I'm wondering if I should be the. I haven't thought about this. Should I be the administrator or the?
Yeah, you should be the administrator.
Okay.
You're running this.
So now that we've had you've done a good test as a facilitator. This will be your experience as a participant.
Okay.
All right. So you're just gonna have to watch me for a second.
Okay.
Log in. I'm gonna run a new retrospective. I'm gonna call it Jonah. Okay. Welcome. Join this meeting. Copy.
What do you use to build this?
Firebase and React.
Nice.
Messages, I guess.
Yeah.
This is really not a Jonah test. This is a SAM test. Like, can I even use this thing?
Nice.
I'm gonna have to block this out so not everybody can. Nobody can read all my text messages. All right.
Here it comes. It's coming. Oh, why did that?
What? Can you?
It's not coming.
Oh, it's not coming. Okay.
Then I don't have a text.
No, it's probably just iMessage being dumb. Let's pull up. I'm gonna Slack it to you.
Is dumb a lot.
So this is making me think right now that I should have a QR code on this page, because you could have just taken a picture of it by now.
Yeah. Does that work? Oh, here it is. Got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Okay.
So, watch this. Sorry, people.
Am I really logging in with Google right now?
Yeah, you're gonna have to do that. You mind if I take a picture of your phone?
No.
Actually, we'll block some of this later. That's emails and stuff.
Whoops. No, that's the wrong one. I think it's that one. There we go. I'm in.
You're in?
Couldn't update the board. Missing or insufficient permissions.
What? Okay.
Doesn't have the board.
It's broken. Would you hit a refresh on that for me real quick?
Yep.
You've got insufficient permissions. Oh, but you're back up.
Yeah.
So you've logged in.
I have logged
Shuffleboard.
in. Yeah.
Gotcha. How did
But
that work?
it was fine.
Did you go to?
I think it tried to go to what you sent me.
And then
It
it
didn't
broke.
find it.
Couldn't find it. Missing and insufficient permissions. Well, those of y'all following along at home have known how many. I've had some issues with that. Our first bug in a usability test. This is exciting. All right. Well, we won't do a live test today, but now we're
Okay.
gonna have some things to fix.
Okay.
And I probably need to make that anonymous sooner than later anyway with the whole login with Google.
I think so. Just anybody that has that link should just be able to come in.
Yeah.
And they enter their name and they're done.
All right. I have a funny question to ask you because I think that in my conversation with these meetings before, this is like a good question to figure out what really is good and bad about the product.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not rhetorical.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think is the biggest thing keeping Atomic from being a Shuffleboard subscriber? Besides the fact that it actually has to work.
I think the login thing is a big deal.
Yeah.
We would want our clients to just not have to log into anything or have a login.
Yeah.
That would be a deal breaker. I think the other thing is that there's so much freedom because we're a consultancy. There's so much freedom to find success however you want, and that means that although at a really high level, there are commonalities across process, design process. There's also a lot of variability.
Yeah.
And so, like, I think we have coalesced around Sketch as like a vector editor,
Right.
And then Illustrator for illustration. Other than that, and the whole Sketch InVision combo,
Yeah.
is probably pretty locked in at this point.
So it really, I mean, based off your answer before, it doesn't really sound like Atomic has tools that it uses as like the fundamental tools. Let me ask you a different way. Like, I could ask, it sounds like if it were to be used, it would be used by either a designer at Atomic running something with a client.
Yep.
If you were to have run your meeting, say you had that meeting to run again,
Yep.
what would be the biggest thing keeping you from using Shuffleboard for that meeting rather than
Nothing.
Nothing?
No, probably just knowledge that it existed. I think that for the exact meeting that I just ran, it would have been great.
Yeah.
Another thing that would be helpful is sometimes when we're generating with a specific end or layout in mind. So think business model canvas.
Yes.
Persona generation.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Then and often like a product backbone where we have high level themes and then feature sets that go below those themes.
Mm-hmm.
And we want to be able to manipulate those things in real time.
So more dimensionality than just the list of steps, like maybe a two-dimensional sort of canvas or something like that.
Yep. And if you think about, I could even like our agendas for kickoff meetings are usually pretty dialed in terms of time.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of generation, a lot. So I could even see Shuffleboard being used for some of those exercises, but I could also see Shuffleboard being the tool that we use to run the whole meeting, right? So there may be parts of the meeting that we don't use Shuffleboard for, but we're using Shuffleboard as an in-between Keynote.
Yeah. And so either you're running the meeting on Shuffleboard, it's either a Shuffleboard meeting, or you're running Keynote, and then Keynote says, hey, for this answer, it's a Shuffleboard answer. So
Right.
pull up your phone.
I don't want to use two things.
Right.
I
So
only want to use Shuffleboard.
right.
And
that's what you
the
said
only
before.
thing that we would use Keynote for is running the agenda and letting people know about the schedule and the timing, right? But Shuffleboard can do that.
I got you. So if there was a way to say, hey,
Right.
welcome to the meeting, there's no question first, but we are going to show some basic something.
Right,
We don't have to use Keynote anymore.
right.
Yeah, totally.
And like there are going to be parts of it that are more a highly facilitated experience where you're like, let's say that we're doing a business model canvas, and a business ecosystem, which is a flow chart, and we can't do that here because we're drawing entities, we're connecting them with lines, we're doing that. We're going to do that on a whiteboard, right? So for that step, what I would want Shuffleboard to do is just say, this is what we're doing, explanation of what we're doing, and how much time is left in this session.
You still want the time. The time is universal. Like you can't have you can do sessions offline, but the timing is still going to be in Shuffleboard. Gotcha. Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Yep.
Well,
and then stuff like we could do we do an innovation game called Remember the Future, where it is just like you're just generating things.
that's cool.
It's a game where you ask the question, like, let's put ourselves on Shuffleboard launch day. So we're at the beginning of the project right now, factually, but in our heads, we want to go to launch day and we want to look backwards and talk about everything that went well and how well things went, and put those up there. And what we're really looking for are success criteria.
That's awesome.
And then we do another one, which is now it's 2 years down the line. How has Shuffleboard grown, and how has it really like captured market share? What were the parts of the product that were really successful? Blah 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 blah.
Oh my God, you jerk! It's recording on here, so it's fine.
Oh,
I mean, I have the voice.
oh, there it is. Cool.
I hate computers.
Yeah. Hey, man. Technology blows. That's why we have
Seriously.
jobs. That's why we have jobs.
It's very true. Let's make a slightly less crappy version of technology is my goal.
That's right.
I know we're running out of time.
Yeah, I got to be downstairs at 10.
Thank you so much. Incredibly helpful.
Awesome.
My
Great.
backlog of feature ideas is massively longer, which
Awesome.
is
Great.
kind of awesome.
Well, that's my
but-
strong point.
But much more importantly is I think I have a much better sense of how this tool might be used. I think I have some things validated. I have some things that I need to seriously consider.
Cool.
Incredibly helpful test.
I mean, I think like as a consultancy, we have specific needs, and then I think that an internal product team would have other needs.
Yes. So the last test I talked to somebody who's a designer in an agency.
Yep.
You're a different role, and I don't know how similar the companies are, but then I'm sort of. I mean, this is, I've been the internal product person, so I have a little bit of my own perspective on that.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely going to be looking for folks doing that, and also people who aren't even designers. I need to do that next.
Yeah.
Stay
That's a
tuned
good
for
idea.
next tests.
Cool.
I appreciate it so much. Thank you
Very
for
very
taking the
happy
time.
to do it.
This is awesome.
All right. Cool.
Goodbye, everybody.